"You're not a priority," Mom texted as I sat alone at my promotion dinner. Hours later, my cousin posted about my brother's jet ski. I paid the $2,185 bill, stopped covering their mortgage, and left a note. Let him pay it. I had a gut feeling something was wrong the moment I stepped into the restaurant and the waiter asked if I was still expecting 6 people. I forced a grin and nodded even though I already knew the answer should have been no. Growing up, I was taught that family shows up, especially when it matters. Yet there I was, tucked into a corner booth by the window, messing with my napkin and checking my phone every few seconds like some nervous guy waiting on a blind date. I even chuckled quietly, trying to act unbothered. "They're just running late," I told myself. I mumbled something under my breath as I ordered a drink I didn't really feel like drinking. "Name's Logan. I'm 35 years old, and after close to 10 years grinding it out at a mid-level company, I finally landed the promotion I'd been chasing forever, Senior Project Director. That title meant more than just a new line on my business card. It was proof. Proof of all those nights I stayed late at the office while my friends were out living their lives. Proof of every weekend I skipped the bar just to knock out another report. It was more than a job title, it was security. A step forward. Something solid I could call mine. And I wanted to celebrate with the people who'd always claimed they were rooting for me. My mom, my brother Derek, my cousin Rachel, and Uncle Vince. That was the core crew. They were the ones who said they were proud of me just a few months back at Christmas. The ones who teared up when I surprised Mom with a car that wouldn't break down on her and stepped up to help cover the mortgage after Dad passed. The same people who used to say, "Logan, you're the glue that keeps us together." 2 full hours went by. Still nothing. No texts. No calls. The only buzz my phone got was a bank notification reminding me how high the bill was climbing. I waved the waiter over and told him to go ahead and bring out the food. Leaving felt too awkward at that point, and I was too stubborn to admit they weren't coming. I took a bite of my steak, trying hard not to notice the empty seats around me when my phone lit up again. It was a photo. Captioned, "Family night out for the real success story." There they were. Smiling wide, wine glasses raised. My mom. My brother. Rachel. Uncle Vince. All dressed up and glowing at some beachside restaurant. Front and center was Derek, grinning like a game show host, holding up a key fob. Behind him? A brand new jet ski on a trailer. The caption read, "He earned this. So proud of you, bro." I stared at that picture for what felt like forever. No mention of me. Not even a lame apology or a "we'll make it up to you." Just a picture-perfect family moment for Derek and his latest impulse buy. And then I saw a message from Mom sent an hour before they posted that photo. "You're not exactly a priority right now. We'll catch up soon. Enjoy your dinner." I wasn't sure what stung more, the coldness of her words or how rehearsed they sounded. Like she'd been waiting for just the right moment to finally say it. I paid the $2,185 check, left a 20% tip because the staff had been doing their best to pretend they didn't notice I was sitting there alone, and headed home in silence. When I got back, I didn't bother flipping on the lights. I just sat at the edge of my bed, phone in hand, flipping through memory after memory like a slideshow I couldn't stop. Every grocery run I paid for. Every "I'll get you back next week" that never happened. Every late-night call that ended with me wiring money to keep things stable. Every time Mom said Derek was still trying to figure himself out. And every lie I swallowed just to believe I wasn't being taken advantage of. I walked into my home office and pulled up the shared mortgage account I'd been silently covering for the past 3 years. $1,830 a month, pulled directly from my paycheck on the 12th. I opened a new browser tab, clicked on the bank's contact page, and canceled the autopay. Just like that. Then I grabbed a sticky note, jotted down 5 simple words, and drove to the house I hadn't set foot in since Easter. I stuck the note to the front door. Let him pay it now. Didn't even check to see if anyone was home. I just got back in the car, silenced my phone, and drove. That night, I didn't brush my teeth or change out of my clothes. I lay down still dressed, the sound of my own heartbeat pounding in my ears. By the time morning rolled around, I had 92 missed calls. Most of them were from Mom. A few from Derek. 1 from Uncle Vince. And 3 texts from Rachel that said, "Call me now. Are you serious? We need to talk." I didn't reply to a single one. I just sat there, scrolling through the missed calls, staring at each timestamp like I was trying to piece together an apology that hadn't been sent. Then I noticed the voicemail icon. I paused. Reading their words was one thing, but hearing their voices? That felt heavier. More real. Still, curiosity got the better of me. I hit play. The first one was Mom. But it wasn't the voice I remembered, the soft, soothing one that used to sing me to sleep as a kid. or beam with pride when I made the honor roll. This one was sharp, high-strung, almost panicked. "Logan, what did you do?" She started. "The mortgage payment didn't go through. The bank called this morning." "I don't get it. Why would you just stop without saying anything? You know we were depending on you. Your brother's finally doing okay and now you're being petty?" And then, like something out of a soap opera, her tone dropped into a choked-up whisper. "This isn't how family treats each other." I replayed that part. This isn't how family treats each other. Again. And again. Each time, the irony hit harder. The next message was from Derek. "Dude, this is seriously messed up. Mom's losing it. We were gonna take care of it. Just needed a little more time. A little time." For years of steady payments apparently didn't count. Rachel's voicemail was next. She didn't even sugarcoat it. "So now you're punishing everyone? Over a dinner? Grow up, Logan. You always act like you're the one holding everything together. Like you're the only one who ever sacrifices." Well, newsflash, Derek's been grinding too. He finally caught a break and we wanted to celebrate. "I'm sorry your little job promotion got overshadowed, but you didn't need to blow up the whole situation." That one made me laugh. Not a happy laugh, just a dry, bitter one. My little job promotion. I looked around my apartment, quiet, spotless, and empty. No family photos. No mementos from trips. Just a clean place I paid for, all by myself. But it wasn't loneliness that hit me. It was clarity. It finally hit me, this pattern I'd been pretending not to see for years. Derek, my brother, he was always the one who got the spotlight. People loved to say he was just figuring things out. That excuse was practically our family slogan when it came to him. Didn't matter that he dropped out of 2 different colleges. Didn't matter that he wrecked his first car. Or that he started 3 separate businesses, each one crashing and burning without him paying back a single cent he borrowed. He was always the dreamer. The guy with potential. Meanwhile, I was the dependable one. The fallback plan. The safety net nobody thanked, just expected. No one clapped when I finished college ahead of schedule. No parties were thrown when I paid off mom's car or when I sat across from a bank manager convincing them not to foreclose after dad passed. But in public? They called me the good son. They loved that title. Me, the stable one. The guy in the background keeping things together while everyone else got to be messy and loud. Until I stopped playing that role. That afternoon I finally picked up one call. It was Uncle Vince. He's usually the calm one, the guy who stays out of it unless the whole house is burning down. If anyone deserved to talk to me, it was probably him. "Logan," he said, his voice low and strained. "You need to talk to your mom." "Why?" I asked, cool and direct. "So she can guilt-trip me into fixing everything again?" He let out a heavy sigh. "She's a mess. Says she didn't realize how left out you felt." I let out a dry laugh. "She didn't know?" I said. "Did she also forget she texted me during dinner to tell me I wasn't a priority?" He didn't answer that. Just silence. And I let that silence sit there. "They've got 30 days, I said at last. That's when the bank will send the final notice." "She's scared they're going to lose the house," he muttered. I shrugged, even though he couldn't see it. "Maybe Derek can sell the jet ski." Uncle Vince let out a quick, surprised laugh. Then he cleared his throat and said, "You're actually serious." And for once, he didn't try to talk me out of it. Part of me thinks he got it, maybe in some quiet way he'd seen the imbalance too. Maybe he'd been in my shoes once, just farther down the path. Later that night, I got a long message from Mom. She called the whole thing a misunderstanding. Said she never meant for that dinner to feel like some sort of competition. She softened her tone, slipped in an "I'm proud of you" buried deep in the 5th paragraph like a landmine. And then she closed it with, "Don't let this one mistake ruin everything we've built as a family." One mistake. That's when I realized we hadn't been building the same thing at all. I'd been laying down trust, accountability, a sense of structure. They'd been building something else, something easier. A system that only worked if I didn't ask questions. But the second I pulled back, the whole thing started to crack. The next morning, I logged into the shared account. No deposits. No attempts. They weren't trying, they were waiting. Waiting for me to fold. To be the bigger man again. That was always how it went. I shut the account down completely. By mid-afternoon, Rachel showed up at my door. No heads up. No text. She knocked like she owned the building. And when I opened it, she barged in without waiting for an invite. "We need to talk," she snapped, arms folded tight across her chest. I didn't move from the doorway. "About what?" I asked. "This little tantrum you're throwing," she shot back. "You're hurting Mom." I stared at her. "Hurting her?" I said. "She texted me during dinner to let me know I wasn't a priority. While y'all were out celebrating Derek, the same guy who hasn't paid for his own meal since, what, high school?" He bought a jet ski, she yelled, like that explained everything. He's finally doing something for himself. That's not a crime. No, I said slowly, it's not. But acting like that's some kind of heroic achievement while brushing off everything I've done for this family? That's the issue. She narrowed her eyes. You always act like the victim. No, I said, my voice even. I'm just done being the fool. She scoffed. They're your family. They were, I said, almost in a whisper. Now they're just people I used to pay for. That's when the shouting started outside. Derek, out in the parking lot, pacing next to Mom's car. I saw him through the window, hands in his hair, yelling into his phone. I didn't need to hear the words, I could fill in the blanks. Everyone panicking. But I didn't move. Because for the first time in my life, I wasn't going to be the one to patch it all up. Rachel didn't storm out. She just stood there, staring at me like she was searching for the old me. The version that would have apologized by now. Maybe offered to cover part of the payment. Just to keep the peace. I stood there, arms folded, giving her nothing. Eventually, she got the message. She turned and left without saying a word. No dramatic exit. No door slam. Just quiet. And honestly, it was kind of peaceful. Not joy, exactly, just the kind of calm that comes after a long storm when you're not sure if it's over or just on pause. I made a cup of coffee. Sat out on the balcony. Watched the same neighbors walking the same dogs, sticking to their routines. But something in me had shifted. Later that afternoon, I got a message from Trey, my old college roommate. He knew more about my family than most people ever did, even if he'd only seen bits and pieces of the mess. Dude, you good? Your mom just called mine. Said you're having a breakdown. I stared at the screen for a moment, then typed back. Nah, just finally woke up. He didn't push. Just sent back a thumbs up emoji and a simple, proud of you, man. That one hit me harder than I expected. Around 6 p.m., my phone buzzed again. This time it was a FaceTime request from Mom. I let it ring out. Then came a long text message. She started soft. Tried to hit that warm mom tone she used when she wanted something. Logan, sweetheart, please don't let this get worse. I know it didn't go the way you hoped, but we were genuinely happy for Derek. We didn't mean to make you feel overlooked. Can we talk? Please? I'll make your favorite lasagna night. Just us. Let's fix this. Then, like flipping a switch, the tone turned. But canceling the mortgage was reckless. You put all of us at risk. You had no right to make that decision by yourself, not when you'd been handling it voluntarily. This wasn't your burden to just drop. Voluntarily. That word. Like I just casually tossed $75,600 into the void over 3 years as if I found it lying around on the sidewalk. No apology. No real recognition. Just that. All it ever was just expectation. It took me right back to last Christmas when Derek gifted Mom a high-end designer bag paid for with my credit card. No heads up. No shame. When I confronted him, he just laughed like it was some harmless prank. It's just easier this way, he said, like that explained everything. And Mom? She didn't even flinch. Told me I was making a big deal out of nothing. It's family, she whispered, patting me on the shoulder. You always help. It's just who you are. But maybe it didn't have to be. Maybe the version of me didn't need to exist anymore. Later that evening, I was going through some old emails when a new one came in. Subject line, notice of payment failure. Final warning. I opened it. 15 days until the mortgage entered default. I could practically feel the panic setting in across town. I didn't respond. Instead, I pulled up an old spreadsheet I hadn't looked at in a while. Every wire transfer. Every light bill. Every quick loan that never found its way back. All laid out in color-coded rows. 10 full pages. Over $89,500 across the last 5 years. I stared at the total for a long time, then opened a blank document. Typed at the top, what I owe myself. And I started writing. Not numbers, words. Not a financial record, a personal one. A reckoning. For every time I got interrupted at the dinner table. For every birthday where I heard, "We'll make it up to you." For every celebration I paid for but was never actually invited to. That weight I'd been carrying, I didn't even realize how crushing it had become until I finally set it down. That night, a video message from Derek popped up. He was slouched on the couch, hair a mess, eyes a little wild, trying to look calm but barely holding it together. "Man, what are you doing?" he said. "You're punishing everyone over one dinner? Come on, grow up. Yeah, we screwed up. But this? You've got Mom crying every hour. Rachel won't stop texting. And now the bank's calling." He paused, looked off to the side like he couldn't face the screen. Just turn the payments back on. We'll talk after. But I didn't reply, because they didn't want to talk. They wanted to reset. They wanted to tape over the hole without bothering to fix the pipe. For days passed. I showed up to work like usual. Started jogging again. Cooked my own meals. It was almost funny how much free time I suddenly had. No more checking to see if Derek's car insurance was up to date. No more reminders to pay Mom's electric bill. No more alerts for Rachel's rent. And every morning, I'd glance at the family group chat, watching it spiral. Rachel renamed it emergency. Then Logan, please respond. Then mortgage crisis. Eventually, it became family unity chat broken heart. I muted the whole thing. I only opened it once. Uncle Vince had left a message. I warned them this would happen. You were never the weak one. You were just too generous. I saved that message. It was the first time anyone in this family had said it out loud. Day 9 was the turning point. Mom showed up at my door. But this time she didn't come alone. Derek was with her. And behind them, the jet ski, parked right in front of my building like some awkward peace offering strapped to a trailer. She knocked once, then again. Logan, sweetheart, please, she called out. Just let us explain. I watched them through the peephole. Derek was pacing, waving a piece of paper around. From what I could tell, it looked like a bank notice. Mom stepped back and stared directly at the door. I know you're in there, she said, soft and careful. You've made your point, okay? We get it. You're upset. But don't throw away your family over one mistake. One mistake. There it was again. Another one. And that's when it hit me. She wasn't here for me. She was here to save the mortgage. Not the relationship. Not the trust. Not the years of being ignored and leaned on. Just the payment. That's all it was ever about. I didn't open the door. I just stood there watching them through the peephole. Until she gave up and Derek pulled away in his shiny black truck, towing that $10,200 apology behind him. As he drove off, I remember wondering if he'd even remembered to pay the insurance on it. The next day was payday. For the first time in years, my account didn't show a huge deduction for a house I didn't even live in. That paycheck felt heavier, like it finally belonged to me. I stared at the balance, trying to remember the last time I'd looked at my own bank account and thought, this is mine. But the peace didn't last long. By noon, my phone rang. It was the bank's collections department. The house, Mom's house, was officially 2 payments behind. Because of the mortgage type, the default process had already started. I wasn't on the hook legally. I'd had my name removed years ago after enough temporary payments turned permanent. Didn't stop them from calling, though. I'm not the responsible party, I said calmly. You'll want to contact the homeowner directly. There was a pause. Then the woman on the line said something that stuck with me. She said you'd handle it. Said you always do. That's when I realized. Mom never told them I'd stopped paying. She didn't call the bank. She just waited, assumed, expected, that I'd be the net beneath their fall, like always, that I wouldn't walk away, until I did. That evening, another knock. This time it was just Mom. No Derek. No props. Just her and a tote bag. Logan, she said when I opened the door. Please, we need to talk. I didn't say a word. Just stepped aside and let her in. She walked in slow, like she was entering someone else's home, looking around like she expected to see photos of herself still hanging on my walls. There weren't any. I motioned to a chair, but she stayed standing. She walked over to the window, looked out, then turned to me. We're going to lose the house, she said. I nodded. Figured. You can stop this, she said, her voice cracking. You could call the bank and No. I cut her off. Calm. Final. She blinked. What? I said no, I repeated. I'm not calling the bank. I'm not making any more payments. I'm done. Her jaw tightened. This isn't just about money, Logan. It's about family. I almost laughed. Mom, on the night I got the biggest promotion of my life, you texted me that I wasn't a priority. Then you threw a party for Derek because he bought a jet ski. You called that family. I call it a joke. She winced. It wasn't meant to hurt you, she started. But it did, I cut in. And you didn't seem to care until the bills stopped getting paid. Silence filled the room. She finally lowered herself into the chair like the weight of everything had finally caught up to her. I didn't realize how much you were covering, she said, her voice low. That's exactly the problem, I told her. You never wanted to realize it. She shook her head slowly, almost like she was talking to herself. Derek's not like you, he needs more help. No, Mom, I said, steady. He needs consequences. She finally looked at me, her eyes glassy and tired. He's your brother. And I'm your son, I replied. She stared at me. And for once, nothing came. No excuses. No guilt trips. No well-worn speech about family obligations. Just silence. A heavy, raw silence sitting between us like a truth no one wanted to say aloud. I didn't want to believe you'd actually leave us like this, she whispered. I didn't leave, I said, quiet but firm. I just stopped letting you use me. Her throat tightened and she swallowed hard. What are we supposed to do now? You figure it out, I told her. Like I did. Like grown-ups do. She blinked a few times and turned away, staring out the window like maybe it held an answer. And for a moment, I didn't see her as my mom. I saw her as a woman, flawed, scared, and completely unprepared to face the mess she'd been denying for years. When she stood to leave, she didn't hug me, didn't cry, didn't even raise her voice. She picked up her bag, paused by the door, and asked, "Is this really the end?" I thought about birthdays spent alone, about the holidays I bankrolled, the tuition I covered, the medical bills, the times I made space for everyone else while no one ever made space for me. It's the end of me pretending this was love, I said. She didn't argue, just gave a small nod, opened the door, and walked out. That should have been the final chapter. But it wasn't. Because 10 days later, Derek showed up. Not at my apartment. At my job. I was mid-meeting when my phone buzzed with a text from reception. There's a guy in the lobby saying it's urgent. He says he's your brother. My stomach dropped. I excused myself, took the elevator down, and sure enough, there he was. Sitting in a lobby chair, bouncing one leg, wearing sunglasses inside like he was trying out for a reality show. The second he spotted me, he stood up. Hey, we need to talk. I didn't move. Here? I asked. Yeah. Well, you've been ignoring everyone. Figured I'd come to you. I led him outside. We ended up under a tree near the parking lot. He got right to it. We lost the house, he said. I didn't say anything. They gave Mom 30 days to move out. Rachel's trying to help, but it's not enough. Uncle Vince is pissed. Said we should have seen it coming. I gave a small nod. Why'd you do it, man? He asked, almost pleading. You got your promotion. You were doing fine. You mean financially? I asked. He shrugged. Yeah. You've got the stable job. And that means I'm supposed to carry the whole family? I asked. He looked at me like I was speaking another language. I bought the jet ski because for once I just wanted to do something for me, he muttered. And I stopped paying the mortgage, I said, because for once, so did I. Something flickered in his face. A tiny shift. A crack in the ego. Mom's staying with Rachel now, he said after a moment. I'll probably crash with Uncle Vince. Good, I replied. He stared down at the gravel. I guess I always thought you'd just keep handling it. I know, I said. He looked up. His expression hardened. So that's it? You're just out. Not out, I said. Free. He shook his head. You think you're better than us? No, I said. Just better without you. He didn't like that. But he didn't argue. He just turned, walked to his car, and drove away. That night, I opened my phone and scrolled through the family group chat. I read every message I'd ignored. Then I deleted the entire thing. 10 days later, I moved into a new apartment. Bought a desk I'd been eyeing for months. Booked a solo trip. Even changed my phone number. The money I used to bleed into them? I opened a high-yield savings account instead. The time I used to spend worrying about everyone else? I used it to read. To hike. To sleep in. And the guilt? Gone. Because sometimes the most painful thing you can do to people who've always leaned on you is to stand up and walk away. For good.